Hello, 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 everyone. How are we this Wednesday? We are here. Thank you for your understanding about last week.
Yeah, sorry about
Um,
that.
Doug, you don't need to apologize. You need to take care of yourself in case y'all didn't know.
Looks like
Um,
it's got an accento before the G on my shirt. I don't know where that came from. What is that? Is
Doug,
that toothpaste? I don't know what that
you're
is.
disgusting, Doug.
God, I'm so gross. I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm wearing just an asterisk gorillas shirt. So yeah, there you go. Sorry about that. It's gonna be so distracting to me. Here, I
Doug's gonna
can't.
be.
I can't take it. I can't look
Oh,
at it. I gotta turn this around. I got to literally turn it around. I was just gonna drive me insane the whole
your
time.
tag. Oh, yep. There you go.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
yeah. Well, that one driven me insane too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So Doug had COVID.
Sorry. We think it's the first time because I actually got like symptoms and stuff like that. I mean, we don't know; it's still a pretty young virus and everything. But yeah, I got all the, I got what you all got. It finally happened. I could the smell and taste disappeared, and I got the chills and the coughs and everything. So yeah, it's very surreal. It wasn't the worst, but yeah, it was just like a flu, and it's so weird. I don't know why I'm acting like everyone hasn't gotten this before. I'm telling you what it's like. Everyone's gotten it, but it's like it's been 4 years and I never got the symptoms. So it's interesting. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah, welcome to the rest of us, Doug, I suppose. Anyway, that's also why I saw a couple people already asking why there wasn't any review today. That's also why, because Doug's a real human being who has to take care of himself. He's not some kind of omniscient internet meme lord. It's
I'll get there.
disappointing. No. Anyway, we're gonna go over the rules here so that we can start answering your awesome questions. So first and foremost, here we give priority to the bit messages and super chats. Wow, I feel like I haven't done this in a month, right? Bit messages and super chats, because that's some real world money spent towards the end of streams. Sometimes we have a chance to go back and look at highlighted messages on Twitch or just regular chat messages on YouTube. But it's just the best way that we can handle the influx of questions that we have. With the super chats, we prioritize reading super chats that are $5 and over. If you give one less than $5, we'll still say thank you and maybe have time for it at the end of stream. But again, we just have such a deluge of questions. This is the best way that we
Ooh,
can
so where
handle
the
it.
deluge.
Deluge, I know. Also, then that gives us more time to hopefully talk to chat without anyone having to pay, which we love, you know? We love to see it. Please do not repeat yourself over and over again in chat. You can get timed out or even banned if you're going to continuously do that. That kind of applies to bit messages and super chats. I have a list over here. It's very, very rare that we miss one. So even if your super chat unpins from the top, YouTube, you don't have to give it again. It's there. I have it. It's extremely rare that we miss it. Please watch the length of your questions. The longer it is, the faster I have to read it, the more likely it is that we're going to lose the point. And we don't have time to repeat it. So short and to the point is better. Along those same lines, if you have to split up a message into multiple parts, please keep it to 3 at the absolute max. Again, same kind of thing happens. We lose the point and there's no going back to repeat it. I feel like there was another one. Oh, yes. Along those same lines there, please keep it to 1 question per super chat or bit message. It's just not fair if you're like, hey, what do you think about this movie? When are you reviewing this? What's going on with this? If you do ask more than 1 question, I reserve the right to just choose one and you have to deal with it. No spoilers. Not all of us have had a chance to see Inside Out 2 or the newest episode of The Acolyte. All of us is me.
About it, roar!
I am those people, so don't spoil it. Okay? Great. Fantastic. I think that's it.
I think we good.
Good. Oi, Ram, thank you for the 500 bits. So, Doug, thoughts on Star Wars The Acolyte so far?
I think it's pretty boring and dull. But I don't have the diehard hate train that other people have. The stuff that the diehard fans are getting upset about, I don't care about. As soon as the prequels hit, all continuity's out the window. I don't care. I just don't think it's that interesting. I think it's pretty dull. But I've seen far worse, from them.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Seeing as how you reviewed them back to back years ago, which animated bird movie do you think is worse, Chicken Little or the first Angry Birds movie?
Oh man, don't make me choose. Maybe I'll say Chicken Little because Angry Birds at least gave us Angry Birds 2, which was surprisingly pretty good. So I'll say that.
Oi Ram, thank you for the 16-month subscription. Welcome back over on Twitch. Appreciate that. Hint for next NC.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, it has gold in it. Guess I'll say.
Interesting. Okay. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, hope your COVID-19 goes away soon. What's your favorite thing to watch on YouTube?
Favorite thing aside from myself. Let me think. Am I logged into my YouTube? I don't think I am. I was gonna just read off some of my subs. Yeah, I'm not. Was it? Oh, is it Hats Off Entertainment? He's pretty good. Brad Jones, I love watching. I love watching James. James Rolfe. Oh, what else? What else? Andre is great. I know there's other stuff. I'm trying to like think of a little.
Did you say Brad?
I did say Brad. I did say Brad Jones. Oh, I know there's more, but Cosmonaut Variety Hour is really great. I love his stuff. And yeah, I know there's more, but I'm just blanking right now. Sorry.
Yeah, Doug's still, just so you know, chat, Doug is still fighting through some of the brain fog fatigue stuff too with COVID. So,
Yes. If you hear me coughing and stuff like that too, yeah.
Oi Ram, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you heard about the leaks that supposedly exposed Disney recently, and what are your takes on those?
No, it's one of those where I feel like I've seen like a little thumbnail with that exactly leaks, Disney, expose and stuff, and because the diehard Disney hate, sometimes justifiable, but it's pretty overplayed. I'm like, I don't know if this is a real thing or not, so I'll kind of wait and see if it enters the real news, outlets. No, I haven't heard what they are. I just heard there was something going on. But again, that can kind of mean anything. Right now, it can be something legit or it can be like absolutely nothing. So I'll wait and see if it gets more attention.
Oi Ram, thank you for the 500 bits. And I'm making this face because I'm trying to figure out how I can reword this question to be a little less odd. So I saw some videos where you talk about certain characters' navels. And of course, there's the Sailor Moon review. It makes me wonder, do you prefer if all women wear lots of clothes to be more respectable?
I mean, the burkas are going to be very in. No, I know what you're talking about. A lot of stuff from like the early days, I like were more centered on like the comedy. There was always analytical stuff in there too, but I was more focused on the comedy. Now it's kind of flipped where it's like a much more analytical, but comedy is still there. So a lot of stuff, it kind of around maybe like the first couple years when I came back, what would that be, like year 6 or something? Kind of assume it's got more of a comedic lean. It's not meant to be taken like that seriously. Yeah, because I mean, I've been doing this 17 years. It's got to change, definitely. So I don't even remember what I said. I remember that was one of the earlier ones, and I'm like, I bet they're different. I bet they're very different now. That's why we had a video series called Real Thoughts, because we knew as the NC, he was such an, exaggerated, sort of satire of like, people that do exactly what we do, like YouTube criticism and stuff that it was always exaggerated. But yeah, now it's a little bit more. It's pretty much my thoughts now, just turned up a lot louder, but yeah, it's don't take them too seriously, the early ones. Don't take them seriously now, even, honestly.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. In honor of his recent passing, what are your top 3 favorite Donald Sutherland performances?
Ordinary People will definitely have to be up there. I'm trying to think. Oh, was it? I think Don't Look Now. It's one of the movies that inspired Hereditary. It's really, really good. It had a great twist at the end that really surprised me. And what else? I guess Body Snatchers. He's pretty good in that. I'm sure there's others, but those are the ones that are popping in my head.
Oi Ram, thank you for the 500 bits. There's a guy by the name of Anthony Garmuglia who is talking some mad shiznit about you. Perhaps you may want to defend yourself.
Like, get out my glove and slap him, challenge him to a duo. That's nothing new. If you have a YouTube channel, especially if you've been doing it for 17 years, there's gonna be people talking smack about you.
At Movies, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on the trailers for Nosferatu and Red One?
um, Nosferatu looks good. It's more the director that gets me excited for it, because he does a lot of cool stuff. But I wasn't like, pulled in by the teaser yet, but it is just a teaser. But it looked fine. And then Red One looked a little funny. I thought sort of it's one of the few times where the CG monsters were kind of the best part. I like the built snowman and like the built polar bear as the sidekick. I thought that was pretty funny, but we'll see. I could easily see that being a movie where it's like the funniest parts of the film were in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. I know you mentioned that Steve Irwin voiced one of the elephant seals in your review of Happy Feet, but did you know he also voiced an albatross in a deleted scene? George Miller later had the animation completed in his honor for the DVD.
Oh, that's cool. No, and the trickiest part was when I saw that on, when I was watching Happy Feet, it would say, well, which one did Irwin voice? And they give the name, and not to be a walrus racist, but they all look alike, and the accents are so thick. I'm like, oh wait, which one's name was that? Did he ever say the name? Did he ever blah blah blah? So I'm like praying I got the right voice there, because they also put a bunch of filters over the voice too, so it was really hard to tell which was which. So hopefully I got it right.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'll admit reviewing a Bible spin-off equivalency of Rhapsody Street Kids Christmas threw me off. How about VeggieTales, Jonah, or Larry Boy next time?
I've never seen VeggieTales, and everyone says
charming as hell, Doug.
They're fantastic. I believe them. So maybe I'll do a review, but I don't know which one to do. Even and then that's the thing. It's like, do I need to know the veggie lore? I don't know. Can I just go into one of these movies not knowing a thing about it and talk about it fine? Maybe I will, because a lot of people have asked for it. It'll give me a good excuse to finally check one out. So maybe someday in the future.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Ever see the Casa Bonita of South Park?
Is that the restaurant? Let's see, Casa Bonita.
I know nothing about South Park, so I'm not the question to ask or person to ask.
Yeah, I thought that was kind. So it was cool. It was a place. If I'm right, it's a place the creators grew up with, and it was closing, and they did an episode about it. Like how great it was and everything. And then they're like, why don't we just buy this place? So that's what they did, and they kept it open. And as far as I know, I think it's still open.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Amphibia, what do you think of the friendship between Grime and Sasha?
That's the main characters, right? Hold on. Again, it's been a
question.
Right, Sasha. Oh no, that's the villains. Oh, I love that friendship. I thought it was very funny. I had those were the episodes in the first season where I'm like, okay, these are good. Like the first season is a little bit more kid centered. It's like that's fine, they're still experimenting and stuff. But any episode that had those two, I loved, and they're not only really really funny, but they were they moved the plot forward. So I really enjoyed all that.
That Disney Nerd, thank you for the 500 bits. Good evening, Heather and Doug. In your opinion, which movie did a better job of showing what an anxiety attack is like, Puss in Boots 2 or Inside Out 2?
Probably Inside Out 2, because you have more time to. I mean, there's literally a character called Anxiety. How can it not do it better? Where Puss in Boots had a ton of other things going on, but I mean, pretty much the focus of Inside Out 2 was focusing on, this new emotion, how it affects everything, how it can get out of control, but how it can also be kept in check and everything. So, and yeah, I mean, both had. Oh, you still see me?
Yeah, I still see you.
I thought I heard a beep there, like we cut out. But both show anxiety attacks, but one just shows constantly the buildup to it, and I like the way it was. I like the way I like the resolution in Puss in Boots. The way it resolved with the dog and stuff like that, but the actual buildup to it and the attack itself, I thought was better in Inside Out too.
Kevin Lane, thank you for the $5 super chat. From Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams comes a story set in the 1940s, Batman Caped Crusader, coming to Prime Video next Thursday.
Yeah, not Max, which is so weird.
Isn't it? I thought it was August 1st that it's coming out.
um,
Is it next week?
no, 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 no. I thought it was August as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but I did see the teaser. Sorry, Chaplain's messing with some chords here. Um, it's funny because it started off. It's so weird to go through this watching a teaser, but I was just like, oh, this is just kind of the typical Batman stuff. I don't know. I don't know if it's anything that special. And as it kept going, it got cooler and cooler and cooler. And then by the end, I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this. I think it looks really, really cool. So yeah, no, I'm pretty hyped.
Noah Zinner, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, I forgot to mention, I didn't know when season 4 of The Chosen comes to Prime, but there's a standalone app for the show to watch 100% free.
Oh, I mean, it's on. I'm pretty sure was it on Max or Prime or something like that.
Prime.
So yeah, I'll just watch it there. It's all good. I don't think I need much backstory. We got a Bible somewhere, so I can read the proper material.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What's an example of an obvious joke that still made you laugh? For me, I love at the end of Monster House when DJ tries to console Mr. Nebbercracker saying, sorry about your house and your wife, your housewife.
That's pretty good. Man, I don't know. There are a lot, but I'm like blanking on which one where I'm like, okay, that's an obvious joke, but it just really made me laugh. Or even one that's just so silly. You know, we're watching Frasier again. We're rewatching a lot of those, and he was looking to get this toy for his son called the Living Brain. It got sent to someone else. These people, you know, a different crane that lived. You know, somewhere in Maine. And he says, you know what this means? He says, yes, the cranes from Maine have got your living brain. And it was just so stupid. It made me laugh really, really hard. Especially because they kind of know as they're saying it, yeah, we know this is stupid, but we're going to have fun with it.
Alex the Animator, thank you for the 500 bits. Doug, since you love Third Rock from the Sun, what's your favorite episode?
Man. So many good ones. I like the one where Sally's trying to get her childhood. She's trying to play Barbies with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and puts his hair in pigtails, which is really great. That's also the one where Harry, I think, becomes Dick's assistant. Yeah, that one's pretty great.
At Movies, thank you for the 500 bits. Could you do a Nostalgia-ween and/or Freak Show Cinema for Death Becomes Her?
Maybe it's another one of those where I don't have a ton to say about it. It's good. It's really funny. Probably the biggest thing I can say about it is that it weirdly wasn't a big critical hit when it came out, and that really shocked me. Maybe they thought it was trying to show off the effects too much, but yeah, maybe like a Freak Show Cinema. I could keep it like pretty short, because I do really like that film.
Samuel, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Appreciate that. Haunted Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather, it was nice seeing you on Percent stream yesterday. Nice, thanks for being there. Doug, how far in advance do you determine which review you'll do?
Sometimes it, you know, depends on how much time I need to write it. I know I really want to talk about the Barbie movie, but I kind of know I need to be really kind of tip-top shape because I got, you know, a few ideas I want to try out for it, and you know, so I'm kind of waiting for at least the chronic fatigue to be a little bit more in control, and obviously don't have COVID, but I mean, usually like couple weeks ahead of time. Yeah, I got like a whole list ready to go, and backups and stuff like that, so yeah, about a couple weeks.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Owl House, which of Luce's friends do you like more, Willow or Gus?
Again, let me look them up again. Oh, House, Willow, Gus. I said Willow, Gus. There we go.
I even sang it!
Probably Willow. I like kind of the backstory about how she used to be friends with was it Amity, I think. And they kind of had a falling out and stuff like that. I don't know, stories like that I find very, very fascinating and very real, because I think that's something in a lot of kids shows. It's always like, oh, well, if they're best friends, they're always going to be best friends. They might have a fight or two, but they get right back together. And it's like, I like the idea of like, no, there can be like a real separation. It can be something really stupid, but it can, you know, set you off in totally different directions, or you just become different people. I think that stuff's really interesting.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. I, for one, am so glad someone is finally making a Batman series set in the 1940s, the age of noir. Heather, what do you think? I think it's nice. There's been some comics set in the 1940s as well, but personally, I kind of like the idea of Batman being timeless and not set specifically in a certain time period. Like something more like the animated series or Burton Batman is just more gothic noir and it's not specifically a time. You know what I mean?
I mean, like you're right. They are literally timeless, but they have such a heavy lean on that film
They
noir,
do.
time period. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of with you. It's like, all right, cool, but I mean, like, is it that big a stretch? You know what I mean? But with that said, it'll be interesting to see how they work with, the die-hard limitations of it. Then after that, with like no modern technology.
Noah, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, can we get a clue for next week's NC, please?
It has gold, space gold, if you will.
Space gold. Interesting. Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Don't get me wrong, I know about the 1943 Batman serial, but the 21st century should have a Batman series of its own set in that time period.
Uh, like a modern one? Is that what they're talking about? The
Maybe?
20th century? I mean, again, I mean, I feel like you can say it with like the Dark Knight movies and stuff. I mean, that's pretty modern. That's pretty now. But yeah, something like the Batman is, I guess it's kind of modern now too. But again, has kind of kind of an old school look to. I feel like the best Batmans, you at least have a little bit of that film noir old school vibe to it.
Jace, thank you for the $10 super chat. Follow up on Boy Meets World, and then there was Sean. When the doppelganger Sean killer is revealed, the short, somber, angelic choir like music makes me feel sad and so sorry for him. Thoughts?
I gotta watch it again because I remember really liking that episode. I remember it did have a twist that was pretty fun and interesting, but I can't remember what it was. And I'm sure you just said it there, but in terms of like the context of the episode, I'm like, yeah, I think it was a dream, I think, or is it one of those where they could just be crazy and do whatever they want? It kind of wasn't canon. So I gotta watch it again. I do remember it being a very fun episode. I remember it being like one of the ones I liked the most. But yeah, I'm ironically having a hard time remembering it, despite being one of my favorites.
Too bad Waluigi time. Thank you for the £5 super chat. How did you go bald?
It's this weird thing called getting older, and I wish I did it. I wish I shaved my head when I was younger because that's always the thing. I never knew it was already going. I didn't know how to make it like look good and cool and stuff like that. Every barber I go to, they can never. I tried putting gunk in it and everything, and whatever product gel, all that stuff, and it just never looked right. And as soon as I shaved, I'm like, oh my god, it's so much easier. I mean, just like every other morning I should, not even that, like maybe like a couple times a week, and it's just so much easier. It's not always in my face all the time. I don't have to worry about how it looks when I leave. It's just, oh, I love it, absolutely love it. I'm gonna shave Chaplin next to show him how great it is.
Don't shave Chaplin. Chaplin, run. Are you in danger?
I'll find he literally has a tux under his fur.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Caped Crusader is what we should have gained instead of Doom That Came to Gotham. I mean, after all, it was set during Prohibition. Right, Heather? I actually never read Doom That Came to Gotham. I know it's like a bigger Elsewhere's one, but I never read it.
I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah. It's an Elsewhere, so it's a different story, not canon, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think they made a movie of it last year too. I'm not sure though. I have not kept up.
It's funny. I said never heard of it, but now I'm like, what sounds familiar? But it's like, yeah, I feel like I've seen like a trailer for like an anime movie or something. So you might be right.
Pokemania, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Frank Altman, thank you for the $10 super chat. I recently watched The Incredibles. Do you think that movie inspired the added functionality to Batman's cape in Batman Begins, or was it always like that?
Knowing Nolan, I'm sure he was like, no, everything has to have a practical use. I mean, almost to a fault with those movies, but it was pretty cool. I think the first time I saw that, where he just throws the cape out and he's gliding with it, I'm like, that's one of the most awesome things I've ever seen. So it's one of the few times where I'm like, no, I'm actually okay with that practicality. It makes sense and it looks really, really cool. I thought it made more sense than the glider in Batman Returns, where he just somehow has it like on his back the whole time. It looked cool when it whipped out, but yeah, it was even for Burton Batman, that was pretty silly.
Yes, chat. I did mean Elseworlds. Honestly, I don't even know what I said. That's what I thought.
I was gonna say, I thought you said elsewhere. Oh, maybe you said elsewheres.
Maybe I said Elsewheres, yeah, instead of Elseworlds. My bad. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on movies Lady Hawk? Great performance by John Wood as Bishop, and Body Heat.
Let me see. That's the one I'm thinking of. It is the one I'm thinking of. I've never seen it. I probably should because I think I've heard good things about it. And then yeah, don't even think I've heard of Body Heat. No, I'll have to check them both out.
Devoid, thank you for the $10 super chat. If you ever start doing dark tunes again, I highly recommend The Amazing World of Gumball episode The Puppy and its sequel, The Nest.
There's a couple that people recommended, but we couldn't find a Blu-ray copy of it or a DVD copy because we need a hard copy of something because I mean if not we literally have to get an illegal copy of it and it's like it's unlikely they'll come after us but we don't want to risk it. We want to buy it legally, so I remember looking into it and like I said at the time it wasn't out but maybe it is now, so I will look into it again.
Max, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, just wanted to say I hope you're recovering okay and you're in my prayers. Also, I could have sworn I saw you at the John Mayer Chicago concert.
Nope. But thank you so much. I had COVID, so no.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Fanscription idea. What if Matt Reeves' The Batman was set in 1950 after World War II? Also, what if Aquaman was played by Chris Evans with blonde hair? Jason Momoa is the only Aquaman.
But I mean, with the way he was designed originally, that does look more like traditional Aquaman. But Jason Momoa is more of a choice, a cooler choice. I mean, Chris Evans is awesome, but Jason Momoa is Jason Momoa. And in the 50s, I mean, it's like sure you could do it, but I don't know what. I can bring it up to Walter, but I mean, offhand, I can't think of anything. It's like, whoa, that's gonna be mind-blowing, kind of thing. But maybe I'll bring it up to him.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I caught COVID over Christmas holidays and ended up sleeping for 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the chronic fatigue was like. I'll say this, getting COVID did definitely make me see the difference between chronic fatigue and just sleeping because you're sick, like you're just tired, you're drained kind of thing. And it is fun. We can kind of, I mean, not fun, but it's interesting we can tell the difference between the two. Like, okay, like when suddenly I'm just talking and I get really brain foggy or I'm doing this, that's chronic fatigue. But if I'm just kind of have energy talking and stuff, like that's just being tired from being sick.
That Disney Nerd, thank you for the 500 bits. Since I'm seeing Nickelback this Saturday, spill the beans, Doug. Expose yourself to the entire internet. What don't you like about Nickelback?
The term that went around, if you like it, go ahead and like it. Don't let, me or a bunch of haters, ruin your love for it. But the term that used to go around for a long time was the twilight of metal. And I kind of like that. Like, it's not a lot of music, particularly I feel like in metal, is stuff where the more safe it is, the more I think kind of hated it becomes. I don't want to say like Nickelback's safe, but it's definitely not dangerous. It's definitely like, oh, they said that, they did that kind of thing. It's kind of a generic sound. I guess maybe in the sound is what I'm talking about, when it sounds very safe and a little bit more generic. But I don't hate them. I think I just get on the bandwagon the same reason like everyone else kind of does. And I know there's some legit stuff you can make fun of them, some stuff they said and done and stuff like that. But I mean, what band hasn't either? So it's just more kind of, it's like hating Jared Leto as the Joker. Is that really the worst thing ever? No, but you can see why it annoys people and doesn't catch on. And sometimes it's fun to ride the bandwagon on that.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. I know you like Joan Cusack, so I was wondering, what do you think of her in Toys?
She's funny. It's not like my favorite role of hers, but is another one where you can kind of tell they have some specific bullet points to hit with the character, like what kind of character she is, but there was enough room to kind of play around with that and create more of a crazy weird identity with it. Like, she's supposed to be kind of spacey, and I guess spoilers, you find out she's a robot, kind of thing.
Oh,
like,
gosh, how dare you. No,
I know. Film that's like 30, 40 years old, something like that. But Yeah, and for playing around with that, I think she did fine. But the whole movie kind of has that vibe where it's creative, it's fine, but man, it could have been great. I kind of get that vibe from everything, aside from visually. Visually is spectacular.
Nintenga, thank you for that subscription over on Twitch. Really appreciate that. Burnsy, thank you for the 500 bits. So interested in doing a review of Bad Boys? No, not the Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and no, not the Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen Western flick. I was remarking about Sean Penn and Clancy Brown in a movie about two rivals in a reform school. Two great actors, I think one's won an Oscar. I'd be interested in your review. Sorry, golly.
I've never heard of that one. I didn't even hear of the other one. I just know the Will Smith uh, Lawrence one. So yeah, I doubt I'll review it. I don't think anyone's gonna click on that. I like to do a mix of something I want to talk about and something I think people will watch. But I'll try to check it out. Like I said, never even heard of it.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Killer Clowns game is fantastic. 15 minutes around to kill humans or escape clowns. The game's success may convince Hollywood to make another film. That's part 1 of 2.
Cool.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Next February, you, Doug, should have a noir month where you review such movies as The Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, and Double Indemnity. There it is.
Nobody's gonna click on those. I will say this. It does remind me of something I have to do. Let me write that down before I forget. Because I like the film Casablanca, except for one thing. I didn't believe the romance. And that's a huge part of that movie. So I want to watch it again because the last time I saw it, I was either in high school or college. And I'm wondering if part of it was I knew the ending, I knew the lines, but I loved everything else about it. So I want to see it again and see if I get more into the romance, especially now that I'm probably closer to the age of those characters. So I do want to watch it again. So, but maybe that'd be interesting to bring up because I could do kind of an interesting point of view on that. But again, I don't know how many people are going to click on it. I mean, I do love noir, but again, I just don't know how, especially a whole month dedicated to it. That's if that doesn't hit, that's something like 4 or 5 videos that are just down the toilet.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, did you know when they were casting for Black Widow, Emily Blunt actually got the role but had to back out due to another movie, which is how Scarlett Johansson got the role? Get better soon.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that before.
Double checking who. Why do I know who this person is?
Who, Emily Blunt?
Yeah, I know. I should look.
I can't even think of a specific movie she's been
in,
but you know her.
I know this person, but for some reason I'm just like totally blanking.
John Krasinski's wife. Yeah, but I was trying to think of a movie.
Okay.
The Fall Guy, right?
Yes. Okay, Fall Guy, Edge of Tomorrow. Yes.
Quiet Place. There we go. Thanks, chat.
Oh, okay. Now
Thanks,
these
chat.
are popping in there. Okay. Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise and everything.
Devil Wears Prada, of course, Dragon's Toy.
But I think she will have done well. I do like Johansson probably a little bit more. But I think she will have done a good job.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is part 2 of 2. After all, it was thanks to the 2009 hit game we got more Ghostbusters. Too bad it started with an SNL gender-bent reboot before getting the real ones.
Yeah, well, now are we really getting a real one right now? I heard the new one's not very good. But no, I've been hearing really good things about the Killer Clowns game. And I don't know if I want to. Let me put it this way: if they do a sequel, they have to have it be low budget. You know what I mean? And practical effects and stuff. I feel like you can't go the CG route with that. Like you have to go really, really old school because that's such the charm of that movie. So I'm not against it, but I don't know. I can so easily see it going south. Yeah, if they make it, I really want to keep to the basics again. I can talk.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you prefer going to the theaters or watching movies on streaming?
Honestly, it depends on the movie. There's some films where I'm like, I want to see that, but I don't think it, demands to be seen on the big screen. But anything that has even the slightest bit of like visual style to it, I usually want to see on the big screen. And I do like watching films with an audience still. I know people that hate it like can't. Rob hates seeing a movie in the theater. And for me, when you get a really good one, I love the audience reaction to something. I know it's ironic because Furiosa didn't do that well at the box office, but I got an early screening of it, and they opened it up to fans as well, and it was a great screening. It's just great seeing a Mad Max movie with people that just love this world,
Yeah.
and yeah, I still, I mean, some of my favorite experiences are seeing movies in with a big crowd, seeing Jurassic Park, seeing Dark Knight, Return of the King, and some of the Avengers movies. So yeah, no, I wouldn't give that up for anything.
Evening Blues, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm surprised you've never touched on the way 1994 Wayans comedy Blank Man. I think a team up review with Malcolm would be interesting.
Maybe I remember liking that movie. That might be kind of fun. Yeah, might be an idea.
Matt, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey Doug, glad to see you're feeling better. Any thoughts on a Planet of the Apes month? You could focus on either the classic ones or the recent reboots.
I definitely want to do like a excuse me, video talking about all the movies, all the original movies. And I wouldn't mind talking about the newer ones as well. Maybe I don't know. I still got to see the was it because there's four of them now, and I've only seen the last two, and I hear the first two are like the best of them. So I do still have to check those out. But yeah, I'll get around to them at some point.
Headshot, thank you for the $5 super chat. You should also play Alan Wake 1 and 2. Wow, I said Alan so Chicago there. Alan Wake 1 and 2. The games where a horror story comes to life and light is your best ally. They seem right up your alley.
Yeah, I never heard of these games, and I saw like, did the second one just come out or something?
It's fairly new.
Or some sort
Like
of
last
like
year.
redone version of it or something. And I saw the trailer, and it looked cool. I'm like, what's Alan Wake 1? I never even heard of the first one, and yeah, I'd be down for that. There's a couple games we're looking to do next, and yeah, maybe we'll throw that on the list.
89 Sigma, thank you for the $10 super chat. Mr. Walker, I wanted to ask you, do you ever plan to review Kevin Smith's View a Skiniverse movies like Clerks Trilogy, Mallrats, Dogma? In my opinion, Dogma is extremely underrated.
I'm gonna do a next Disney December. I'm gonna include Miramax movies,
Mm.
and the one thing that it's like it's great, but it also sucks because I got a whole bunch of our Disney stuff to talk about, and with Miramax, it's like there's just two filmmakers that just take up the majority of what I want to talk about: Quentin Tarantino and Kevin Smith. And I'm gonna talk about their stuff, but there's just so many I want to talk about. I hate that I have to space them out probably over a couple years here, but more than just a couple. But yeah, I'll get to them because I do think they both do films that are interesting to talk about.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of the inventor in Edward Scissorhand?
Oh, I mean, Vincent Price, you can't go wrong with him. And I love watching his performances in general, but I love watching him in that role. Because I mean, I don't know, he's supposed to be both kind of a weird, creepy old man, but he's supposed to be like very heartfelt and loving and stuff like that. And I feel like just so much of what he was and his likability was in that role and in that performance. So yeah, and it's very simple, but just so charming too. And yeah, it's I thought it was played very, very well.
Samuel, thank you for the $2 super chat. Tiffio, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your biggest hopes for the Zelda movie? If I can speak my mind, I hope they don't go all in on the good versus evil or chosen one trope.
Is it is live action, right? Did they confirm?
Yes.
Okay. I don't a part of me would like to see. I hate talking this way because I didn't like this movie, but less Lord of the Rings and a little bit more Legend. Legend, if it's a little faster. Legend was just everything was in slow mo and didn't really have much of a story, so that was kind of bland. But I love the style of it and the look of it, and I would like to see a little bit more practical stuff worked into it. I think that'd be really cool. But that's kind of like how I always thought of a Zelda movie, like growing up, like, a lot of stuff that was really there and, like puppets and stuff like that. I don't know how practical that is now, but I think it'd be pretty cool if they went that route. They're probably not, but it'd be pretty cool.
Too bad Waluigi time. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Who's
I was
better,
chosen
Heather or
today.
Tamra? There's only one right answer, Doug. I will turn this stream around. No, I'm kidding.
I love them both so much to make me choose. It's like the ending of The Good Son. I'm holding on to both of them off a cliff. How do we even get to this situation? I love them both equally.
Juliana, thank you for the $5 super chat. What movie did you and Rob argue the most over to the point where one or both of you got red in the face?
I, I mean, if we did, I mean, it'd have to be when we were kids or something like that. I can't see us getting that angry, as adults or even like, I don't even think teens. I don't know. I'd have to really, I mean, there's ones we always kind of, would bicker back and forth on, and sometimes we change our mind on. Like, I think he was a little indifferent to Prince of Egypt and they learned to really like it. I think, I think I like Spider-Man 3 more than he did. He really hated it. And, and now I see more like compared to the others. I'm like, yeah, I can see why this doesn't, quite work. But I'm sure there's others, but yeah, those are two that are coming to mind right now. I mean, God, like I said, we'd have to be little kids to be like yelling at each other with our differences on it.
Crazy Guy, thank you for the $5 super chat. I just bought the Cinema Snob movie on DVD. Where can I get more Channel Awesome movies? Will there be more to come?
Well, you can get them at theawesomestore.com. Operators are standing by. No. Man, it's been a long time since that's been said, right? Is that even like a thing? Operators are standing by for
Right.
buying something. And they take a lot of time and energy. And again, especially with the chronic fatigue. And even if I didn't have the chronic fatigue, I mean, it's just, I'm older. I don't think I have the energy for something like that anymore. So I'm just putting more effort into like, reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to look into them, getting DVDs and stuff like that, you can get them at theawesomestore.com.
We also have them when we go to cons too.
That's true.
Ruby, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, dude, can't wait to see what you think of Sonic 3. And it's my birthday! Happy birthday!
Yeah. I like the last one. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm looking for. Is Keanu Reeves Shadow, right? Is that
Hell yeah, he is.
I mean, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be really, really fun.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Spectacular, what did you think of J. Jonah Jameson?
I mean, he's a pretty hard character to mess up. Like I said, I just swear this was intentional, where, I always make fun of the line in the second film, my son, the astronaut. I mean, it's such a painful line, in my opinion. So in this one, I love where they're just like, that's right, my son's coming to town. He's, it spent years and years, trying to learn how to go and travel into space. And he finally he's this big hero. And absolutely, I mean, he just gives his whole backstory and then says, my son, the astronaut. It was almost like they were purposefully trying to show how bad a line that was. And they just completely reworked it. I thought that was very funny. And even the son, the astronaut, is very, very funny and very interesting in that show. Yeah, no, it's I thought they did a good job.
Hero, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug and Heather, I know it's not your wheelhouse, but what WWE did with a recent segment was pure cinema. Question, thoughts on DreamWorks doing a Donkey movie / Shrek 5?
I don't, on the one hand, I'm like, can't they stop? On the other hand, the last Puss in Boots movie was really good. And what they leave on 4? I mean, 4 was like, and 3 was pretty bad. So, I mean, maybe they're just like, let's try to give it a better finale, kind of thing. They can, maybe they can finish it on a higher note. We'll see.
Swift, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, I know you're a big fan of the film Amadeus, and I was just wondering, are there any other period piece films that you would recommend?
Of course I say a ton, and I'm drawing a complete blank.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, let me just type in some period piece films. I mean, ones that I remember being really good. What pops up here? Dunkirk I guess that counts.
Right, because I mean, some of those movies, yeah, that would count. It's a period piece, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, ones that have their own, unique spin on something, like Django Unchained, I think is an awesome movie. Let's see, what else? I mean, technically you can say just something that exists in like the 80s is technically a period piece. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking through all these and I'm kind of like, yeah, they're period pieces, but they're more like war films and stuff like that. So I don't know. The Favorite is a good movie. Yeah, I'm sure there's more. Barry Lyndon's a very good movie. Chicago, I like. Yeah, there's a couple for you. I mean, I'm sure there's much better ones, but those are the ones that were just listed there, and I remember being really good.
Maori Link, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good day. Which is your favorite DreamWorks movies sequels?
Uh, I mean, I'm assuming they're talking about like animation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Shrek 2 and Puss in Boots 2 are definitely really, really high up there. But those are probably the two.
Frank, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on The Boys on Amazon Prime?
I haven't seen the latest season. I heard it's
Me
pretty good.
neither.
But yeah, no, I do want to check that out. But yeah, what I saw, I liked. I was a little worried about the commentary in the last season because it worked out okay, but there's a lot of things where they'll be poking fun of like celebrities and and pushing causes and stuff like that, but they'll be doing the same thing or
Mm-hmm.
pushing advertisements, and then they have all sorts of advertisements very clearly worked in to the show. So that concerns me a little bit, but it was still a good show, and I haven't seen the latest season yet, but I'm very excited too.
Christopher, thank you for the $5 super chat. Does Doug know about the Injustice storyline? If not, it's a storyline in the DCU where Superman goes insane after the Joker nukes Metropolis.
I've heard of it. I think I've seen like, bits of it, like
Mm-hmm.
little comic panels and stuff like that. Is that the story they do in the video game
Yeah.
too? Okay. Makes me want to play that game even more. But no, I don't know it, like bit by bit. Literally I just know some bits about it, but I should do more research into it because it sounds pretty cool.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Loved your Inside Out 2 video. If you want a game that really dives into the emotional and psychological thought process of people, check out Psychonauts 2.
Oh, okay. That's funny. I thought you were gonna say Nevermind was a really good game at doing that. I played the VR version of it. It was freaky awesome. I did play a Psychonaut game on again the VR, but I don't know which one it was. I don't think I've ever played the originals. I mean, it looked like fun. It looked really creative and everything. So yeah, maybe one of these days I'll look into it.
Zenarius, the mediocre gamer, thank you for the 500 bits. After letting it sink in for half a week from finishing it, did Final Fantasy VII Remake make you a potential Final Fantasy fan?
Oh sure. Yeah, no, I like that where I like that world in particular, how loose the reality is. You got these anime tropes that, are sometimes really goofy and stuff like that. And a lot of time, I don't know, older me, like college me, snobby me, didn't get into that stuff as much. But now I'm really digging when something will just do a complete left turn tonally, and it just soaks it all in. It just goes really big within. I thought that game really did that a lot, and I'm kind of digging that stuff more and more. So yeah, I'm excited to play the next one whenever we do that.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Steven Universe, what did you think of The Diamonds?
Uh, those were the big bad guys, right? Originally, hold on,
I
wait,
haven't seen it. I don't
Steven
know.
Universe, the Diamonds. Uh, yeah, I like it. So I will admit, I stopped watching when they started to become a bigger part, and then I watched like a recap of the rest of it because again, just work caught up. But I did watch the last season or whatever, the epilogue, Steven Universe, Future, and obviously put together what happened there. And from what I saw, I liked him. I like that show. Yeah, there's definitely villains, but there's more antagonists in it, and I find that much more interesting. Um, and I like for heroes that just whoop the ass of everything and stuff like that. The main character is very much trying to find like the in between realm. Can these rocks, creatures, whatever, be reasoned with, and find the non-violent route and stuff like that. And sometimes the answer is no. I like that. Sometimes that's the harsh answer, but I like he always tries. And I feel like a lot of that was kind of happening with those characters from what I saw.
Robert Willing, thank you for the $5 super chat. When do you think studios mishandled? Oh, why? Sorry. Why do you think studios mishandled video game and comic movies for so long? So many of them would get them wrong when they'd have a winning formula.
I don't think they thought the crowd was big enough to do something that was exactly like the game, something like, the Super Mario Brothers movie. And so, well, okay, compare the two Mario Brothers movies, the live action one where they're like, we don't know what to do. We got to make this cool and badass for like the younger crowd or anyone that doesn't know what Mario Brother is or hasn't played it, but they can look at this and be like, ooh, that's awesome. Versus the other one where it's like, they are just entirely relying on you knowing the source material. And that's fair because everybody does know the source material. It's the same thing with like the Across the Spider-Verse movies, where it just, if you don't know what Spider-Man is, I mean, you might like it okay, but you're not going to love it. Because you're not going to get everything. So, yeah, I think just enough time has passed, and they know the lore now of these video games. They know how big the audience is for these video games, and yeah, I think now they're really, really paying attention to it, and just having fun with it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Owl House, is there any characters you think really suffered from the show getting cut short and you wanted to see more of?
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think who. Oh, was it the collector? I think the little boy at the end who should have been the main villain, in my opinion. That was the one that hurt the most because I love that character. I love what they did with him, and he's just squeezed into like the finale, pretty much, or and then just they give a little hint of him here and there, and I'm just like, oh man, I wish this was the bad guy throughout the whole thing. I think that would have been a lot more interesting.
Alex loves musicals. Thank you for the 500 bits. I finally saw Inside Out 2. It's a good movie, but I didn't like it as much as the first. Everything with anxiety was perfect, but some story beats repeated a lot from the first movie, but I still enjoyed it. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I did a video on it, where you can see a lot of that. It's fine because I'm hearing that a couple times, and I actually thought what was cool about it is that they made it look like they were going to do some of the same beats again, and they don't. They kind of make it look like it's going to go one direction, then they're kind of like, oh, this can't get us out of this time. But I guess you're kind of right. Like the emotions are lost in, they're not in control anymore and they have to work their way back to the control room. I guess that's pretty similar, but do you really want them stuck in that control room the whole time? I think it goes without saying you want to see them journey through, the mind again. But I really liked it. I still don't know if I like it more than the other one. I might like it more because I thought the humor was a little better and I thought the emotional beats were just as strong in my opinion. So yeah, I gotta see it again, but I really enjoyed it.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you watch Impractical Jokers?
I know what it is. I've never seen it. Yep, that's all I gotta say.
Alex loves musicals. Thank you for the 500 bits. In a recent interview, Eddie Murphy revealed he's recording lines for Shrek 5 and a Donkey spin-off movie. I'm curious about Shrek 5, but not a standalone Donkey movie. What are your thoughts?
You know, same, but after Puss in Boots 2, yeah, not now I don't know. They might really have something there. I'm not sure. I'll say this: it'd be fun to see because if they do a Donkey movie, they're gonna have to give him some like more serious moments, and it'll be nice to see Eddie Murphy just voice acting do some more serious moments. I think that'd be interesting. Everything else about him, not seeing too much potential, but again, I don't know how much potential I saw in another Puss in Boots.
Evening Blues, thank you for the $5 super chat. There are lots of photos of you as the NC with Ego Raptor back in the day. Was there ever any talk of a collab or guest Grumps appearance at the time? Sorry.
I don't even know if Game Grumps was a thing when I knew him. No, we just kept showing up at cons, and we both had a ton of energy. Yeah, they would just always put us together a lot of times, and he was a lot of fun. I mean, just like I said, just crazy amount of energy. And yeah, no, I remember we've done like a few videos that I'm sure they're on YouTube somewhere, but yeah, no, it was a lot of fun shooting stuff with him.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Amphibia, what did you think of the friendship between Andrea, and Marcy?
Oh, I liked it. I like they made him a little bit more of like, instead of just a generic villain, they kind of made him this dude who's like, just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like impartial to a fault. Like, he's doing this bad thing, but no, he's just kind of a likable guy. You can tell he's kind of convincing himself this isn't that bad. I think the relationship with Marcy, kind of helps make that more interesting. And to an extent, she does the same thing, doesn't she? So, yeah, no, I like the way they did all that.
Maryland Wolves, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thoughts on 6 Feet Under if you've seen it? Personally, for me, it's a top 5 show ever, and that Sia still gets me choked up, even though, despite her recent transgressions, making me lose respect for her.
I've never seen it. I think I started to watch it like years ago, and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't grabbing me. But I mean, again, it was like I was probably in college when I started watching that. So maybe be different now. Yeah, I don't know.
Honest reviewer, thank you for the 500 bits. Sup, Doug and Heather? Say, Doug, have you seen the latest 2 episodes of Hell of a Boss?
I saw the second to last one. I liked it quite a bit. I haven't seen the newest one yet, though.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Favorite episode of Beavis and Butthead?
Man, that's rough. I kind of like so. I mean, is it cheating if I say it's kind of like one of the newer ones? I haven't seen all of it yet, so maybe that is cheating. But the one where they go, they're in modern day, and I think they go to college. Um, Most of that I've seen most of it. I should sit down and watch the whole thing, but just the bit I saw was so funny and so good. I can't see it like going bad after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those scenes just made me laugh so hard. So yeah, I gotta. I'm assuming it's gonna be that. I'm gonna sit down, watch the whole thing, and probably declare that my favorite.
Evening Blues, thank you for the $5 super chat. One of my favorite NC moments was Andre appearing on the Smurfs 2 review. He went surprisingly hard against character. How was scripting for that?
Oh, fun. Sometimes that's what's fun when you work with somebody that either they're writing their stuff or even like usually the idea is that if you're doing a crossover, whoever's editing it, like they kind of get to direct it. And you know, obviously you give your feedback and everything, but sometimes I gotta write a person's, you know, entire dialogue. Sometimes that's been done for me too. You know, it's just not time. Other times it's kind of like a half and half. And yeah, I always try to tell them like, look, I want to capture your voice here, you know, so please let me know if I'm not. But with that said, sometimes it is fun to get something that is a little like out of character. They can kind of stretch and do something a little different. And yeah, he was always really cool with all that.
Kevin Lane, thank you for the $2 super chat. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I ended up getting fatigue from medicine that makes me sleep all day. When do you find time to watch movies?
I mean, like on the weekends, my wife and I like to, you know, just Netflix and chill, as the kids used to say, and to watch something to review. I mean, we have like a, you know, not a whole day, but you know, a day set aside to watch it and like take notes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess just the same amount, the same days everyone else does, I guess.
KP, thank you for the 500 bits. There's a new Bible series coming on YouTube July 1st called The Promised Land. It's basically The Office starring Moses and set during the 40-year desert wanderings. I'm surprisingly intrigued.
That sounds pretty funny, actually. I mean, it's got to be better than Joshua in the Promised Land, I would think. Maybe it's the sequel, the long-awaited sequel. Maybe it's the same guy, and just he's amazing at live action. He has a great sense of humor and great ideas. He was just really bad at animation. Who knows?
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which Korra villain do you like more, Kuvira or Zahir?
Let me double check. How do you spell the first one? Kohira?
Kuv, Kuvira. With a V. V-I-R-A.
And then who's the other one?
Zahir.
Yeah. Oh, that was the third season, dude, right? Yeah.
I'm glad I had to be like, oh gosh, I can't remember some of these villains either.
No, I had to look them up. Well, you know, it's funny because I know the actress who voiced her was named Zelda, so I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, I thought it was Zelda. I was like, no, that's the actress's name. Kuvira was a little bit more interesting because there's a little bit more of a mystery to her, and it's not really a mystery that entirely reveals itself in terms of like her motivations are there and everything, but she kind of keeps very inward and doesn't show off too much in terms of like, you know, what she's thinking in the moment. Like it's very direct, very, you know, curt to the point and stuff like that. And that could be really boring, but I thought they played it pretty interesting. So yeah, almost for the opposite reasons of the of Shahir, I actually like that she's a little bit more mysterious. You don't always know what's going on in her head, and that way you can kind of see the descent, kind of the switch that happens with her.
Maryland Wolves, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on Veep? It really shows that JLD can still be funny as all get out.
I've never seen it, and I really like Julie Louis-Dreyfus, so I should check it. What is that on? Is it on Showtime or is
I
it?
don't know.
I should check it out because I've heard great things about it, and she's always awesome. Also, it's just I mean, I guess more of the actors have now, but I mean, it's nice to see them break the Seinfeld curse after that because that show went on for a long time, and everyone said it was great. So yeah, I should check it out.
VGE, thank you for the $7 super chat. Doug, have you considered trying Fire Emblem in the future by chance?
Um, I only know it from Smash Brothers. I don't know anything else about it, so I'll look more into it.
Dev the Wiser, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you gotten around to watching Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom yet?
No, and I'm in no rush. Honestly, everyone's just told me like it's either okay or it's just the first one again. And it's like I like the first one fine, but I mean like especially now we know it's not all going anywhere. I'm really not in a rush. Like if someone just wants to put it on, I'll watch it then. But you know, I already got a ton of other things to like that I want to see, and that's not particularly high on the list.
Tifio, thank you for the $5 super chat. Your thoughts on the liar reveal trope is very famous, but would you mind going more in depth about the trope?
Well, you know, it's funny because I was kind of thinking about the other day because I don't know if that term existed before I start calling it that because that's the point where it gets bad. It's not the person pretending to be something else and lying. That stuff's great and funny and makes for a great story. It's when the liar is revealed and then everybody mopes and dopes, and even half the time there's not a reason for it. Like most of the time people can be like, wow, you did all that just on the fly. That's amazing. Holy smell. Like I hate it in A Bug's Life where he has a good plan. And then they find out whatever the circus bugs aren't warrior bugs or whatever. And they're just like, oh, you lied to us. So this is terrible. We can't do this. And it's so stupid. And just everything comes to a stop. The comedy stops. It's not very good drama. It's always something we've seen a million times. There's just nothing new to it or nothing that interesting, where I think when the character is lying, you can do a lot of funny stuff with that. But when you have to get to the drama part, they always act like they're the first one to do it. And so you really have to let the drama sit because, man, you've never seen this before. You really have to let this emotion, hit you hard. But it's like the most common trope and the most annoying trope to me. But there are some that have done it, and the ones that don't make a big deal of it or gloss by it really fast and focus on what is entertaining about the story. When that happens, I overlook it. I don't see it as that big a problem.
James, thank you for the $20 super chat. Doug, would you rather only be able to watch the sequels of a film series and never be able to watch the first again, or watch the first film of a series but never be able to watch any of the sequels again?
Probably the first. There's a lot more bad sequels than originals, but sometimes you get a sequel that's better than the original, but usually the originals are better.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Lost in Translation, what's your favorite moment between Charlotte and Bob?
Man, I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. I I like when they make up near the end. The fire alarm goes off. I thought the way they made up, again, it's another good example of like not quite liar reveal, but okay, so these two are just gonna hate each other and mope and dope, but they get over it very quickly, and it felt very organic, felt very real. But I also love there's one scene where they're meeting up at pretty much a strip joint, where I mean, just this naked woman's dancing in front. He's clearly uncomfortable. She comes in. They're just kind of looking at this lady, and he's kind of like, you want a drink? She's like, let's go. And he's like, okay. And they leave. I mean, it just felt so natural, and they felt so on the same page that they could read each other. I really like that moment.
Brian, thank you for the $5 super chat. I've loved your suggestions for animated shows so far. Are there any other ones you could recommend?
I mean, there's some I'm watching right now. Blue Eye Samurai is pretty good.
Oh, so good.
I didn't grow up with World of Gumball, so I mean, watching those is really great. I love the variety of animation, different types of humor that they have there. What else? I'm finishing up Archer. That's a very funny show. There's some good ones there.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you like the huge episode of Next Generation?
The huge episode of Next Generation. What does that mean? Is it just
I don't know.
called let me see. Hold on. The huge episode of Next Generation. Let's see if anything pops up here. The Big Goodbye. Maybe that's it. Like the final episode. Wait, no, it says 1988. That can't be it. Oh, that's like the film noir one. I don't know if that's what you're talking about though. That's the only one that's popping up though. So I guess I'll say it was good. They didn't quite have their footing yet, but they were getting there. I think it's the first one with the holodeck.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Glad you're better, Doug. Have you ever seen Best Defense? It stars Dudley Moore, Eddie Murphy, and is made by the folks who made Howard the Duck. It's considered one of the worst comedies ever made.
No, I've never even heard of it. Oh my god, it has like 2 stars in IMDb. Never heard of this. What a random team up, Dudley Moore and Eddie Murphy. I'll try to check it out.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which Jim Broadbent character do you like more, Malcolm from Arthur Christmas or Frank from Hot Fuzz?
Probably Arthur Christmas. Frank is fun, but he's more of like a satire of kind of movie villains, and where I think his take on Santa was very charming in again misguided and naive and stuff, but still had a lot of charm to him. I love the bit at the end where he says, "What was it? In my day, a walnut and a pat in the back went a long way." I love the way he says that line.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on Road of Perdition?
I never saw it all the way. I started it. It wasn't grabbing me. Like, it wasn't terrible. It was just the exact movie I thought it was going to be. So I kind of just stopped. I should probably give it a chance. I should watch it all the way through.
Chase, thank you for the $5 super chat. I got it this time, critic. Treasure Planet may not have been a success for Disney, but I enjoyed it. Plus, Third Rock's Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jim was cool.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nailed it. But I mean, yeah, if that is it, is totally it. Maybe it would change my mind a little bit compared to a review I did before Disneycember. So yeah, go ahead and maybe see or not see. It's totally it. The review.
Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Fanscription idea. What if Tim Burton's Superman Lives movie with Nicolas Cage didn't get canceled? Also, keep up the great work. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. YouTube.
Yeah, sparkle, 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 because we're on YouTube, but we can't say that now.
Did you like my little whisper of YouTube?
It's a good reminder. That was the first part? Superman Lives. I mean, maybe because I think the script is out there, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what we can really add to it. But yeah, I think that's just it. I think it's out there. I don't know what we can add to it.
Jacob, thank you for the $5 super chat. What is a movie that's not about filmmaking that you find inspiring? Mine is October Sky.
That's not about filmmaking.
I know now all I can think about is movies that are about filmmaking.
Yeah, I mean, if you just asked me that, in general, I could probably tell you some, but now I'm just thinking of what's about filmmaking. I was just, I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I had an interesting idea. I don't know if this counts. It was more a show, but I was thinking about top 11 Star Trek moments that changed me. Because the more I was thinking, like, there are some moments that I was like, that really helped kind of shape kind of who I am and my thoughts on everything. And there's this one episode where Q is God, and he has Picard go back and change his the story of how he lost his heart. He has an artificial heart, and by doing so, he takes less risks, and he's not a captain anymore. He doesn't make an impression at all. He's passionless, and but he lives longer. And I think he tells him, I'd much rather die the man I was, the captain I was, than be that passionless nothing. Something along those lines. And I just remember thinking, like, holy smokes, like, he would go back and die younger, live a shorter life, but a more important life, a richer life, than live longer and just have nothing happen to him. I just thought, man, I was like, I don't know, like 12 or something like that when I saw that. And that was just like mind blowing to me at that time. I mean, now it's a very common theme in a lot of stories, but back then, 12-year-old Doug was very blown away by that.
Iron Collie, thank you for the 500 bits. Of all the PSAs you've covered over the years, which do you think was the most traumatizing?
The one that got the biggest surprise might be the holding the gun at the dog. That just so because we're looking at the timer go and we're just like, well, what's gonna happen in there? Like nothing's happening. Just that gun at the acting from that dog. How they got him just panting, and then just, oh my god. Like he really thought he was gonna get shot. Like it was so crazy. I think just violence against animals in general is gonna like spark something in our lizard brain that's just like, no, bad. I can't watch this bad.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you prefer, Knives Out or Glass Onion?
Knives Out. Glass Onion's good, but I figured it out pretty quick. Where I love with Knives Out, I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to figure out. I love that. That really threw me for a loop.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In toys, what did you think of Robin Williams' uncle? Do you think he's a good villain?
Uh, yeah. Again, fine. Just about everything in that movie, I'm gonna say fine, with the exception of the visuals and the score. Those are fantastic. Everything else is fine.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on Regis Philbin? Always loved his comedic delivery and warm demeanor.
um, fine. I liked him more than Kathy Lee. She kind of got on my nerves, but I don't think I quite got into him as much as like everyone else did at the time. But he's a for a very safe, cozy, host. I mean, it's always the way he is a host. I thought he did the job okay.
Dean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, have you ever seen that episode of Darkwing Duck that riffs on Twin Peaks? Twin Peaks. It's weird.
Maybe not, or maybe I did. I didn't know. Twin Peaks at the time. Now I gotta look this up. Twin Peaks. I gotta know if I've seen this episode or not. Oh, maybe okay. I didn't know this was a Twin Peaks parody, and now that I'm looking back on it, yeah, it totally is, isn't it? I gotta watch that again. Okay, I will check that out again. It's even called Twin Peaks. I should have probably put that together.
I know what, guys. Thank you for that 50-month subscription over on
I got to just say, while I was looking that up,
Yep.
there's this amazing drawing somebody's done. It's the Batman slapping Robin meme, except it's Darkwing Duck slapping Launchpad. If they want to go really dark, they'd have it be Gosling, but that's still pretty funny.
I know, guys. Thank you for the 50-month subscription over on Twitch. Really appreciate that. Welcome back. Were you able to see If? If so, thoughts? To me, it was really sweet.
No, I'll probably stream it when it comes out. That's one where I'm just like, I heard things about it, didn't really grab me. So, but I'm curious. There's people I like in it, so I'll probably just watch it when it comes to streaming.
Hyper Devil Fangirl Boner, thank you for the 500 bits. Some guy came up to my mom on her way to work and told her, "Cheer up, love, things can't be that bad," and walked away. For the record, we were literally at my aunt's funeral last week. She was sad for a reason.
I was gonna say that's why whenever anyone's like, what's so wrong about saying smile? That's why it's not on top of many other things. You legit, do not know. So it's not best to do that. Even if you have good intentions, it's not a good thing to do.
KP Kruk, thank you for the 500 bits. I took my daughter on her first trip to the movie theater to see Inside Out 2. We all enjoyed it very much. FYI, I've been seeing many videos theorizing a romance between Riley and Val. I saw it as a fan meeting her idol. Don't get why people are pushing for more than that. What are your thoughts on people shipping them, and what do you want to see in Inside Out 3?
I could see either. My guess would be your guess. That was more like an idol. Today. And I think when you do start dating an idol, it's like, yes, that's a thing. But I mean, like at that age, I don't know if you want to tackle that at that age. Dating alone is already like pretty rough and interesting. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can talk about. But then dating your idol as well, like that's one of the things I like about Riley and what they do with that character is that they do make her so relatable. I mean, everybody can relate to, like 90% of her problems. So I think the idea of like dating your idol, I don't know how many people have done that. So I guess I would lean more against it, but I mean, I wouldn't be like diehard against it. Again, they've been going all the right directions so far in terms of like where to take everything. So I would lean more against it, but I'm not like diehard against it.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on the SCTV film Strange Brew?
I never saw it. It was always at the video store, and because I didn't see the sketch that much either. I've only seen a little bit of SCTV. What I saw, I really liked, but I haven't seen a whole bunch of it, so I never did check it out. I don't even know if it has a good reception or a bad reception, so maybe I should go check it out and see for myself.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. Thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
Mm. I still haven't seen it. I'm probably gonna stream it. I get the feeling I'm gonna agree with everybody that there's gonna be too much going on, but I could be wrong. I could see it and absolutely love it, but most of the people that have kind of similar thoughts as me are all kind of saying the same thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I get the feeling I'm gonna think the same thing about it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Last of Us, what's your favorite moment between Ellie and Joel?
So now are we talking about the show or the game now?
Ooh, that's a great question, actually, because
uh,
I know a general answer for the game.
yeah, man, now I'm trying to think. I guess because I saw the show more recently, I guess I'll go to the show. Even then, that's kind of rough. I don't know why. Maybe because we just got done watching like we marathoned all of Northern Exposure. I love when they have the little Northern Exposure like reunion there, and just the way they're kind of talking to each other while they have the gun, on these two, was pretty fun. And I again, you kind of see the power dynamic of like how much do you show your hand and how much do you not? And she's much more of like, oh, who cares? They're harmless. And he's like, shut up, Joe. We got to take this seriously, kind of thing. So, yeah, for some reason that's really popping in my head. I know there's a lot of heavier moments in there, but I like that one.
No, I think some of the lighter moments are moments that really breathe humanity into them. Because,
Yeah.
like, I love in the video game after Ellie gets the joke book, and there's just those quiet moments where she, like, just pops the book open and reads a joke to Joel. Like, oh,
Yeah.
God, that's the kind of shit that gets me, you
Those
know?
are
Movie Mike. Oh, I just read that. Sorry. Gaming Politician, thank you for the $5 super chat. Did this round of COVID worsen your brain fog? I hope not. Wishing you well.
I don't think so. All things considered, the symptoms were mild-ish. I don't want to say mild because I did get the chills a lot. I took so many baths, man. I'm like twice a day I took a bath. I was just so constantly cold. But I mean, it's just like a flu. My concern is, is it going to be any after effects? I've definitely seen that happen to a lot of people, but it could be nothing. So we'll just have to see.
Chase, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, you are right. Film adaptation of the Doom that came to Gotham was made. The context is pretty much Batman goes up against Cthulhu and its cult. Right. I just haven't read it or seen it yet. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Never heard of China Syndrome, Fortune Cookie, or Sace the Tiger? Somebody doesn't know their Jack Lemmon movies.
I guess not.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. It's time to do NC on the Way of Water.
No. Wait. Oh, I think it said Shape of Water. Way of Water. No.
I was like, how is that going to change your answer?
Yeah, it's still about the. I mean, I guess I could. Nobody really cares about those movies. That's what I found out when I did the first one, when I reviewed the second one. They just kind of see them, like them, and then completely forget about them, which, I mean, again, you could say that could make an interesting video, but I feel like I did with the first one. I don't have a ton to say about the second one. Apart from the technology, I feel like really hit where the first one should have been. A lot of people say first one's very pretty. I agree. Technology is very impressive, but it did not look realistic, where the second one did. It was mind-blowingly realistic, and that really kind of blew me away. But that's about it. Everything else is just the stuff I don't really like, and I feel like I can't talk a ton about, because, I mean, I don't think people get... I usually get really passionately angry about them when people love it, and people don't really love it. They love to look at it and be in that world. And then even people that love it are like, yeah, but we know the story's garbage. And it's like, I don't know, how can I get too angry at that? I guess I really can't.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Claws, what is your favorite moment between Claws and Jesper?
I gotta see it again, but I don't know why. What's really coming back to me is just kind of the whole, after the climax is done, just kind of the whole ending and the way you see how much they've really grown together, and the way they the way they talk to each other, it's different. Even kind of I remember the blue lighting throughout a lot of that ending, and it was a very kind of somber but nice uh kind of friendship that they worked up to, and the way he does like the ending narration and stuff. Yeah, all of that just had a I don't know. You just felt a real connection between the two in that last little chunk there. And I don't even remember exactly like bit for bit, what happens or line for line or anything. But but I do remember the last line. I think it's a very good last line. So yeah, I guess that last chunk.
Justifiable Treason, thank you for the $10 super chat. In your opinion, why do people seem to take everything the critic says completely seriously and as your real opinions, to the point people have made content psychoanalyzing you, such as folding ideas?
I mean, to be fair, you can kind of see why it started off again just as a real kind of parody of like just people that take this stuff way too seriously and everything, and then I guess like real people like that character popped up in real life, and that's one of the reasons I did change. I mean, not the only one, but where I was like, yeah, it's kind of more fun just giving my real thoughts and turning it up a little bit more. I don't always have to be, a character. I don't always have to do a real thoughts kind of thing. And there's 17 years of content. I mean, if you were to watch like a video from like the first year I've been doing this and that video now, I mean, the styles are very different. So of course there's going to be, confusion over that. But that's also kind of what I like about it. I like it does change over time, and I change over time, and people change over time. But you try to keep the core, what's interesting about it still there. Is both something that you can watch years later, but it's also very much of that moment, and what was popular at the time, it wasn't popular, what worked, what didn't work. So I don't feel too bad for me. I'm still living the greatest job in the world. I have the greatest fans in the world. I have the greatest people to work with. Yeah, if somebody says something bad online, going to entertainment, you have to know that's part of it. And sometimes you just got to take a punch or two. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're still living in an absolute dream. So yeah, don't cry for me, internet. Trust me, I know there aren't a ton anyway that are, but trust me, I'm not worth it. I'm very, very happy.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on the original Clash of the Titans?
Oh, I loved it. I haven't seen it since, I was probably a kid, but that imagery and the effects and everything, like, still stay with me. I think that was my first introduction to Medusa, and that's a great introduction. Definitely scared the crap out of me when I was a kid too, which I think is how that a movie like that is supposed to work. It's supposed to scare little kids, in a way that you never quite forget. But yeah, I love the imagination around it and the effects around it. It's just a fun adventure. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Claus, what do you think of the two clan leaders? Do you think they're good villains?
Yeah, surprisingly, for something that again you kind of think is going to go kind of the liar revealed route and does technically, I thought they made them pretty fun, and I like the idea that they have to work together to defeat, in their eyes, a common villain. And ironically, it does bring them closer together. So they're kind of helping them out just in both the right way and the wrong way. So yeah, and I was really ready to not like those characters. I thought they were going to be too one note, but I thought they made them pretty entertaining.
The Devil Goose, thank you for the $9 super chat. What fictional character do you think you could/would want to play in a movie? Any character from any medium?
Man, I don't. The only thing that's popping in my head is I thought it might be, and again, it'd have to be what the director would want. I mean, as an actor, that's always what you want to do. You want to give the director, what they're looking for. But I always thought a version of the Joker kind of done like Ask That Guy would be interesting. He's not quite the loud, crazy, whatever. He's more just always kind of on cloud nine. He's always really happy just with the crazy, insane things that he's doing. Like, he's the only one who gets the joke, and it just makes him so happy and so euphoric. I think that'd be kind of a fun take on that. But again, I don't have a story plan for him or anything. I have no way to do it. It'd have to be something where a director would want them for whatever crazy reason pick me for it.
Ken Dog, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, the new trailer for Batman Caped Crusader, the new animated series from Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams, and seems to be a successor to The Amazing Batman, the animated series. Just wonder if you saw the trailer and what do you think of it?
I think it looks good. I'm glad they're experimenting a little bit with it, because when the teaser started, I thought it was just kind of stuff we've already seen, but as it kept going, it kind of got cooler and cooler. And I am glad they're working in Matt Reeves into it because I don't know, he has this way of just bringing this style and this tone to something. It's been done a million times, but the way he does it, just you really feel like you can breathe in this world, or a world you don't want to breathe in, almost, because it's so intimidating, but so fascinating. And it looks like there's more of that in this Go. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Hero, thank you for the 500 bits. For some context to my earlier comment, WWE did a vignette featuring Bo Dallas and the leader of the recently debuted faction, the Wyatt Sicko, Uncle Howdy. It had a very well done production. Bray would have loved it. Apparently got a standing ovation when the crowd saw it.
Cool. I wish I got into wrestling because I know so many people that are into it. And I, like I said, I love wrestlers. I love what goes into wrestling. I love the background. I love how much planning goes into it. I love the personality of it. I just every time I try to watch it, I can't get into it. And I wish I could because I can see how much hard work goes into it and the planning and everything. I'm even watching the movie Iron Claw right now, and it's a good movie. I'm really enjoying it, but man, when they actually get to the wrestling, it's just so dull to me. I wish I did, but yeah, it just doesn't grab me at all.
Sean, thank you for the £5 super chat. How often do you watch Brazil, and does one of your favorite films lose its spark after watching it a certain amount of time?
um I don't know. I mean, there's definitely films that work that way where I'll watch it a few times and kind of be like, yeah, this is kind of losing its magic. But that one usually does. Some scenes will. Like a lot of the action sequences are not that interesting. Even Gilliam, the director, said like, yeah, I'm not that good at doing action. I don't know how many different ways I could show someone just shooting at each other. But I don't know. Like maybe once every couple years, I'll watch it again and always find something new in the background or the foreground or like a different expression maybe somebody has. Yeah, I love it. I think about it a lot. I think it's another way you can tell your favorite film is how often do you think about it.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on the Waterfront? Fun fact, Eva Marie Saint, star of that, North by Northwest, and voice of Old Katara, is turning 100 a week from tomorrow.
Man, oh my god, that is crazy. I really like it. I mean, I have nothing new to add to it. We all know. I mean, we don't all, but I mean, like any movie buff knows the movie, knows the lines, knows the performances and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a good solid. Like, it's not one of my favorites or anything, but I mean, it's just when you see it and you say this is a classic, it's like, yeah, no, that checks out. This has everything that a classic, especially made at that time, would have.
Caleb, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey there, Doug. What do you think of the movie Tick Tick Boom? In my opinion, it's easily the best movie musical I've ever seen.
Well, if you become one of our members, we actually do have one of the Untitled Review Show tests was of that movie, and I I liked it. I'm trying to remember now. There's one or two things that I felt was just a touch off. It's maybe just a hint too whimsical. Particularly with and I love Andrew Garfield, and when you see this guy, you see how much he really did capture of him. And I know it's supposed to be magical and the whole thing's a musical and stuff like that, but I feel like he could have held back just a little bit to make it feel a little bit more believable, even though it is a musical. But I think that's kind of all the more reason you got to hold back a little bit. But I thought it was good. I like the style of the movie. I like the way just the idea of turning it into a musical. Or no, wait, what? No, that's right. It was a one-man show, right? Originally.
Tick Tick Boom, yeah.
Yeah. What? And it was a musical too, or no?
I
Show?
think so. I could absolutely be
was.
wrong, but I thought so.
Or it was. That's right. It was like a really, really low-budget show, and it was like before Rent came out. The guy passed away before Rent came out, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that
he did.
kind of thing? Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the idea of showing that, and I mean, just that hard truth that a lot of things that you're working towards, either A, could never happen, or B, you just never get to see, which is, a very hard truth, but it also makes you all the more appreciative of, what does succeed and what you do get to see. definitely. And I think that's the spirit of the film that holds, the strongest. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
That is saying it was a three-man musical.
It was a three-man musical. Okay, yeah, because I was thinking to myself, it's like, wait, I'm remembering like there wasn't much of a stage, but there was more than one guy. I mean, it was definitely him. So okay, that makes more sense.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Breaking Bad, one of the things that's so great about Gus is that he can do the most horrible thing all with a calm, blank expression.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the show's very good. I'm not gonna badmouth the show, but I didn't get into it because I thought the characters were too unlikable. I didn't know why I was watching these people. Like they're interesting, but I don't know. Like I don't know. Tony Soprano has like a charm to him. A lot of these bad guys that we're watching have a charm to them, and I didn't get any charm from those characters until Gus came in, until Saul came in, until Michael came in. That's why I think I like Better Call Saul a lot more because they're just more interesting not interesting charming characters. I want to watch them more, so that made a big difference for me.
Junior the King, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey Doug, would you ever do a Nostalgia Critic episode on the movie Stay Tuned?
Maybe. It's always on the list. It's another one where I always push it back because I'm like, well, would anyone watch this? I don't know if they would, but it might have enough of a following. It's a very odd film. It doesn't quite work, but it's pretty fascinating in the way it doesn't work. So might be worth talking about, or maybe like a freak show cinema, something like that.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Breaking Bad, I know you don't really like Jesse and Walt, but were there any moments between them that you did like?
I'm sure there was, but I'm blanking now. I mean, it's got to be one of the moments where there's just something a little funny that happened, like legit funny. But I'm blanking out because there are so many episodes. And again, I remember more of the stuff with Gus, Saul, and Michael. Sorry, I'm blanking.
Ultimate Frozen, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, I gotta know, is there a reason the Nostalgia Critic thumbnails change after like a week to something completely different?
The same reason just about every other YouTuber's thumbnails change.
To appease the almighty algorithm god.
Yeah. we wouldn't waste time doing that if there was no reason for it. Yeah, so I always do the first one, then Rob does the second one. I feel like we always have kind of a fun competitive, like who's making theirs better and stuff like that. Every once in a while we just know it's like, yeah, I had no time to do this is just, I know this is crap, it's the best I could do right now. Kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of a fun little rivalry we have going on every once in a while.
A crazy guy thank you for the $10 super chat. Guys, I'm literally dying. Nostalgia Critic has been my favorite show and Cinema Snob was my favorite movie. How can I see more Channel Awesome movies? I fall asleep to Linkara videos.
Again, you can go to theawesomestore.com. We do have DVDs there. Or if you go to stonegremlin.com or just look at Brad's YouTube page, I'm sure he has an area where you can get like DVDs and books and stuff like that there too.
Spin Dash, thank you for the $5 super chat. Are you looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine? Also, have you seen the trailer for the new Batman cartoon?
Yeah, it looks animation. Thank you. No, I'm not quite that snobby. Yeah, I think it looks good. And same for the other two. I think it looks good.
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on The Great Escape with Steve McQueen?
I saw it years ago. I remember it being good. But again, I haven't seen it since I was like, I don't know, 11, 12, something like that. So it's been a hot minute. It might be a good one to check out again.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. I admit the real Ghostbusters films we got the past 3 years are not great, but just like the Star Wars prequels, they're made on the OG creators' terms.
The one before Frozen Empire, I found people were really split on it, and I get it more. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, how can anyone not like this? And the more I saw people say why, I'm like, okay, I get that. That's legit. I see. But I like that it is one of those movies where I will admit, and I get why people have a disagreement here. If it was not Reitman's son who directed it, I don't know what I would have thought about it. I don't know if I would have liked it as much, but everyone knows it's him directing it. And I think that does play a big part in the way, and everybody kind of knows his style and everything. So I thought that was a very fascinating coming together of a whole bunch of different elements. But even then, there's stuff that didn't work in there. Some of the callbacks I thought were a little lame, and there's probably too many characters. That's why I don't think I'm gonna like this new one, because I already thought the last one had too many characters. Apparently, they're adding even more, so it sounds like there's gonna be some trouble.
Zanarius, thank you for the 500 bits. Quick, look behind you, a distraction! Oh.
Hey.
The microphone like crackled as it hit the chair hit it.
We'll edit in post.
My boy, thank you for the 30-pound super chat. Hey Doug, love your work and been watching for a long time. Please come to Scotland.
I've been there, just not for a con. Yeah, if you want us out there, go ahead, find a con out there and say, hey, we want them over here, and maybe they'll reach out.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Scrooged, what do you think of the speech Bill Murray gives at the end?
It's fine. I don't quite love it. That is. I love the animation on that big goal reach. That's really cool. Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't think I've ever seen that animation before. It's really cool. The heart in the movie is it's not bad, but it's not the strongest point of the film. So I think the speech at the end is fine. It's definitely kind of on the Bill Murray terms, but I do feel like when Bill Murray can be funny and heartfelt, when they can get that perfect mix of the two, it's so good. Something like Groundhog Day or Lost in Translation. I do wish that was there in that moment, but it's good. It's still done well.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of Dawn of the Dead? I love the setting of the mall, and I think the movie does a good job at making you care about the four main characters.
I mean, which one? There's two. There's the Snyder one, then there's the original. I've only seen the original. I never saw the Snyder one. But I hear it's good. And I like the original. I don't think I got into it quite as much as everyone else. And part of it is I'm not a big zombie movie guy. They're not my particular favorite, monster to watch. And that's a very long film. But the commentary's clearly there. It's got some great kills. And yeah, I think the same thing is setting it in a mall is a brilliant idea. And again, just like the commentary really does write itself with that. They don't even have to try that hard. So yeah, it is a very good film. Like I said, if I was a zombie fanatic, I'm sure I would love it. But because I'm not, I just see it as it's a good film.
Pepsi Man, thank you for the $5 super chat. I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out and smoke weed and fill our bellies with diet soda and play Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
You mean PS2? Sure.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Fun fact about A Bug's Life. Early in development, instead of Flick, the main character was going to be an ant named Red, who was a member of the circus bugs.
I would have liked that a lot more. I didn't really get into that movie mainly because I thought the ants were so boring, but the circus bugs were so great. That film just comes alive when they're on screen. So yeah, I think I would have enjoyed it quite a bit more if they had that.
Tiffio, thank you for the $5 super chat. Here's a fun concept for a TV show or movie. What if your mother was a superhero from outer space?
I wonder why from outer space. That's so specific. That there must have been something with a parent being a superhero before. Like The Incredibles. I feel like I've seen a Nickelodeon show. When I was watching Korra, they always had on before a show where I think like their parents were superheroes or one of them was. I mean, from space could be fun. You could do like a Captain Marvel kind of thing. That's a fun idea.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I like the Inner Light episode of Star Trek.
I see which one that is. Inner Light Star Trek. Actually, I bet I know which one that's going to be. Is that the one where he lives his whole life? Yeah, that is a very, very good one. Yeah, that's another one that kind of I don't know. I'm liking this list more and more. I just thought of it today, and I'm like, yeah, that would be on the list and everything, because there's surprisingly a lot, and not just Next Gen. I mean, it could be like the movies, it could be any of the shows, because there's a lot of Deep Space Nine ones that would be on there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking this idea more and more.
Ruben Hall, thank you for the $5 super chat. What was a film you thought was so deep when you were a pretentious teenager, but you later learned was just speaking to you at the right age?
Man.
Donnie Darko.
No. Or are you saying that's the one for you?
Maybe.
Okay, okay.
Maybe that I mean, like, okay, listen, don't take this the wrong way, chat, but I was an emo high school kid, and I think The Crow just hit different in high school.
Um, Waking Life, I think, is one because when I saw it, I think I really liked it. And then when I watched it again, I kind of realized, yeah, man, they could have done a lot more with this, with the animation and stuff like that. But that director, I found out was very, very versatile. I thought it was only going to be sort of this animated stuff, but yeah, he's done like a whole bunch of different stuff, in different styles and different ways, which is pretty cool. A lot of it's very good. But yeah, I think that was one where I really thought like when I first saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that was deep, man! That was crazy." Because I was so into philosophy at the time, I was taking philosophy classes, and then like when I watched it again, I was just like, "Oh, this is pretty boring." Like I could just have a conversation like this with somebody, and the animation's not that interesting. So yeah, that's. I'm sure there's more, but that was definitely one.
Lady Houndoom, thank you for the 55-month subscription. Welcome back.
Phew.
Appreciate that. Caleb, thank you for the $5 super chat. Since Tick Tick Boom is about the guy who wrote this musical, what is your opinion on the musical Rent, if you've seen it?
I I respect it more than I like it, if that makes sense. I
It
think
does.
when it came out, I can see why. And it's very talented. It's very well put together. It came out at just the right time, and it is good. It's not a musical that's going to speak to me. I think it's the best way I can put it. I can definitely see why it did speak to so many people. Why it was a very important musical. But it's not made for me, and I can see why it's made for other people and why it's good and definitely respect it. But I can see it, say, okay, I get it, and then kind of never think about it again. But it is very good. I think the people that does connect with, it's going to stay with them forever. You know what I mean? Again, just came out at the exact right time. So yeah, it is very good. But there's a reason when they made a movie about it years later, it didn't connect with anybody because it really was something about that time, saying something that it wasn't being said enough or wasn't being shown enough, I should say.
Lady Houndoom, thank you for the 1,000 bits. I just have to share this news. I just put in a down payment to build my dream house. I should be moving in by Halloween. I am beyond hyped. Congratulations,
Holy
Lady
smokes! Yeah,
Houndoom.
that's really cool.
That's
Holy smokes!
amazing.
I can't even like when I was a kid, I remember, you do the thing where you draw your dream house. It's always like this crazy mansion. It has like a Ninja Turtle door, stupid stuff like that. And now I'm just like, I can't even imagine doing all that, like how much work that must take and everything. So yeah, that's definitely gotta be a passion project, man. So all my best, I can't oh my goodness, that is so freaking cool.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you remember the Darkwing Duck episode where Bush Root tries to ruin Christmas?
Kinda. They did a couple Christmas episodes, not a ton though. And yeah, I kind of remember. I remember being okay. I don't remember a ton about it, but I remember it being good.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Last of Us, which version of David was better, the show or the game?
I can't remember myself which ones.
I think he's the guy who's in charge of the cannibal cult. Or like the cannibal group.
Yeah. I guess
I like the game version a little bit better, but you spend a little, like, you get a little bit more time to know the character, and I
I
like that, like, boss battle you have
yes.
against him
So
as Ellie.
I agree. So I like the performance more in the show, but because it is a game and you can spend more time with it, I like the way everything else is done in the game. Because yeah, I mean, because that boss battle is like the one where it's like, there's like a handful of things you remember from that game, and that's always one of the things you really, really remember. At least it really stood out to me as a very intense scene.
Dominic, thank you for becoming a member over on YouTube. Appreciate it. Eldritch Fish, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, would you rather be a magic class in D&D or a melee class?
I have no idea what it
Melee.
is.
Doug likes hitty. Doug doesn't do magic. He does hitty, fist. He'd be melee.
To a fault. But sometimes to an advantage.
BEC, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, I know you like the movie The Wall. I'm just curious, when is the first time you saw it? For me personally, I saw it as a young kid.
Exact same. I saw it kind of at the perfect age when I was a teen. I always saw, I knew some of the music, and all my friends had like T-shirts of it and stuff. But I never saw the movie, and every time I saw, it was on DVD, and I always see that cover. That cover that always stood out. And every time I look in the back, they'd had like no pictures. It was just all the kids lined up, and that was it. And I couldn't rent it anywhere. So finally, I just took a chance. I'm like, let me buy it. It's Pink Floyd. It's got to be good. Everyone says it's great. And I mean, that was just exactly what I loved and wanted to see at that age. I mean, the music, the imagery, reading a ton into it and everything. The animation just really, really blew me away, and I got super, super into it. And that's why I thought, the review would turn out pretty good because I really had this idea of mixing that, that teen childlike, fascination with it, with more kind of the cynicism of being an adult and sort of questioning things more, being a little bit more of like, pretentious mucky muck and stuff. Because when I talk to people who see it years later as they're older, they're like, they still like it, but they are a little bit more cynical about it. I kind of wanted to do something that was kind of like those two battling each other and working in comedy, and it just did not work. As a lot of people say, but yeah, I still love the movie and the music and everything, because like I said, I think a big part of it is I saw it at just the right age.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. First, there be some shadow figure that we won't be able to see as soon as we turn around.
No, I won't do that again.
Preview review, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Nostalgia Critic, been a big fan for over a decade. I know you love slapstick comedy. Have you heard of Hundreds of Beavers? Please check it out.
I will. I feel bad because I missed they had a screening at the Music Box that apparently was great, and the crowd just went nuts for it. And I've seen the trailer. It looks really funny. I'm still kicking myself I didn't see it on the big screen, but I feel like with a crowd, it's going to be really great. But haven't seen it yet. I'll see it when it comes to streaming.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of Bobcat Goldthwait? Yes, in Scrooge. Thank you.
He's a required taste. He's one of those where I get why this is funny. I get why this is enjoyable, and he's going all out with it. He is one of those people where I'm like, man, I just have to be in the right mood to hear that voice. And sometimes I am. I actually think he's pretty funny in the Police Academy movies. But for that character, he's good. He does a good job. The voice does get on my nerves. I think that's more of like a personal thing.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Scrooge, what do you think of John Glover?
Good. I could have used more of him, actually. I thought he was a pretty fun villain, and he really adds a lot of flair whenever he plays an antagonist. And I guess a lot was cut out from that movie, and I get the feeling there was more of him originally.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Top 3 dramatic and top 3 comedic Robin Williams performances. Let's do top dramatic and top comedic.
Yeah, top dramatic, maybe. I just saw Fisher King again. He's really good in that, but maybe a mix between that and Insomnia. I really like it. And then comedic. Man, Doubtfire is pretty good. Oh, let's go the cliche. Let's say Genie. I think mixing that with animation was just such a cool concept.
All right, cool. And we have like just 5 minutes or so here for
Alrighty.
some highlighted or chat questions. Master Mario says, and I'm so sorry to hear this, my dad recently passed away from throat cancer on the 13th, just 6 days before my birthday. It's been a rough few months, but I'm happy he's not in pain. Watching your old reviews always make me happy. You lost your mother young too, so you know how it feels. What do you think? And then a complete tone shift. What do you think of King of the Hill and its upcoming reboot?
Well, first of all, incredibly sorry to hear all that. I mean,
Yeah.
I lost a parent too, and it hurts, man. I mean, it'll get less painful, but again, it does show how much you care for someone when it hurts that much. And in terms of King of the Hill, again, perfect segue. I loved it. As I feel like a lot of videos are pointing out now, it's a loving satire. You're not seeing as much now. And that's why I'm very curious to see what they'll do with it now, because I don't know if they can do it the same way. I hope they can. If anything, I hope they can do it again and people can kind of see it and be like, oh, okay, it's not always an us versus them, kind of thing. You can do this stuff and there can actually be like you're making fun of them, but it's from a place of love and trying to understand one another. So yeah, I hope it's done well because that would be really cool if people look at it and be like, oh, okay, like this is kind of this satire that's not being done as much anymore.
Frankfurt over on YouTube asks, thoughts on the Croods movies?
I've never seen them. That's one of the few DreamWorks movies I haven't checked out, and I should because I heard the first one's at least good. I haven't heard much about the second one.
Kevin Lane, thanks for the $2 super chat. I thought next month was August. My mistake. Yeah, so I think the Cape Crusader does not come out until August. So, cool, great. Sean49 Doctor on Twitch says, okay, Doug, now for something completely different. It's time for John Cleese to make an appearance on your next commercial special. He's done ads for everything from chocolates to Schweppes ginger ale.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Again, I don't know how much I could add because they're usually just funny. They're just funny commercials. And I don't know what much I can really add to it. Maybe I'll find that one where it's like, oh man, I can really say a lot. But as of now, I feel like I would just point and say, funny.
Sentience Nuka-Cola Battle Cap on YouTube, first of all, great name, asks, have you considered reviewing Felidae? Felidae? F-E-L-I-D-A-E.
Hold on. F-E-L...
I-D-A-E. Felidae?
Oh, okay. I think I've seen a...
I'm butchering it. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. I think I've seen like a preview for it years ago. And it looked kind of interesting. But I never checked out. Whoa, it is bloody. Whoa! I'm sorry, I'm just seeing some of this image. Like, this just looks like a cute little animated cat movie, and there's some blood and gore in this, man. Holy smokes. Yeah, I think I gotta just check it out on its own just to see what the hell.
Kirok, thank you for the $10 super chat. Near Dark is a comparison to Lost Boys, similar storyline, but sad to say it suffers from the Shawshank film where it wasn't promoted properly. But trust me, it's worth your personal viewing.
It looked kind of cool. Yeah, I want to check it out.
Lord R. Wolfen over on Twitch says, hey Doug, have you seen the anime My Hero Academia? I know you're not much of an anime guy, but since the series is about superheroes, it could be up your alley.
I know what it is. Like, sometimes I'll see a cosplay and recognize. I hear it's great. I've never checked it out, though. I'm sorry.
Mitchell Pape on YouTube asks, least favorite segment from Fantasia?
The dinosaurs. I think the music's boring. The scene with the T-Rex is cool, but it is the one where I'm just like, there's not a ton to look at throughout it.
Blabble Bleck Block says on Twitch, what are your thoughts on Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
I remember liking it okay when it came out. I know people were very divisive on it. I can definitely see why. I haven't seen it since. Out of all that guy's movies, that's the one that I probably rewatched the least. I don't even know if I ever rewatched it. Although I do have to see, was it Last Night in Soho? I still got to see that. I got to check that out.
Dalton over on YouTube asks, would you watch a sequel to Biodome?
I mean, I feel like I'd have to. I'm not willingly, but I probably would.
Nintenga over on Twitch says, in terms of movie franchises, at least 3 movies, where would you consider the original the worst of the entire franchise? Wait, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of movie franchises, where would you consider the original the worst of the entire franchise? Which one would you say have the biggest quality gap between the original and the second?
I see what you're saying. Which one it started off with the worst?
Yeah, had the worst of the first films.
Honestly, probably The Purge. It's a fun idea. I didn't think I thought it took itself way too seriously. And as every film came out afterwards, I swear they listened to the criticisms and said, oh, okay, well, let's work with that. Let's try to fix this around. And I thought they did a pretty good job. I actually thought they got a little better as they went on. The last one wasn't that hot, but yeah, I actually thought they got increasingly better for the most part.
Noah's Corner of Nostalgia on YouTube asks, can you do a review on The Nut Shack?
Maybe. I know what that is. I've never seen it. It's another one where I don't know if people would click on or not. Like, is there a following for it now? Maybe there is. I don't know. I'll look into it.
Cartoon Dictator asks, Doug, would you play a Kingdom Hearts game featuring Disney TVA characters?
I guess I don't know what TV.
TVA, like the time, like, I can't imagine. I don't know TVA outside of Loki.
Oh,
The
okay.
time variance.
Gotcha. Yes, that is what pops up. Would I play a Kingdom Hearts game that had those characters?
Yeah.
I mean, why would I not? I guess I don't remember a ton about the characters, but sure.
Dex124 on YouTube asks, Nostalgia Critic, will you do Hellboy just to do it? He did the joke of Hellboy too, but the actual thing, please, I just want to see Hellboy, Nostalgia Critic.
Maybe, I never, with the exception of the visuals in the second one, I never got into those movies. I love all those people. I love the director. I love the actors and everything, but they never really grabbed me that much. Maybe I'll like it more now. I'll at least try to watch it again.
What they meant by TVA is television animation, like animated TV.
Gotcha. Like Tailspin or something like that.
Gotcha. Sorry, I just saw the abbreviation TVA and.
Yeah, no, actually, I love like Gargoyles or Darkwing Duck. Even something like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers that might be kind of, or yeah, flying with like the Air Pirates that have Gravity Falls. Yeah, all of that be great. There's a ton of opportunity in there.
Well, great, and that brings us to 8 o'clock.
Alrighty.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here as usual. We super, super appreciate it. YouTube, we will hopefully see you next week, or...
Did we say yet what we're playing next stream on Friday's stream?
We did on Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, in case you missed it, I'm gonna be playing Helldivers 2. I've never played it before, so we're gonna be doing a few streams of that. So if you want to see me say, wow, this really is like Starship Troopers, come on by, watch it there.
On Twitch, twitch.tv/channelawesome. Not on YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. But you can always come hang out with us on Twitch, okay? On Twitch, we are going over to raid Miss Tamara Chambers. If I could spell my friend's name, that would be really helpful. Exactly. Silhouetted Animator, thank you for the $5 super chat. We can do this super fast. I apologize if you were asked this before, but did you see the photos for the new James Gunn Superman film?
Yeah, the costume looks interesting. I like this kind of retro future that they're doing. I think that can be pretty cool.
All right, awesome. Thank you all very much. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you all later. Bye-bye. Bye.